Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Bad Brad, and this is primarily a guitar channel, but I thought I'd talk today about the update to Logic. Now, Logic Pro used to be Logic Pro X. That was Logic Pro 10. It is now Logic Pro 11, and this new update is huge, and it's foretelling of what is to come. Now, what does this have to do with playing guitar? Well, it has a lot to do if you're a guitar player that uses Logic and produces music or records for fun or anything where you use Logic. The new update is free, and what it includes, Logic previously had their drummer. And a lot of times at the start of my videos, just like this one, there's a clip of me playing guitar. Now, I like to put together a quick track, and lately, what I've been doing is grabbing some loops, using the Logic drummer, moving some things around with drummer, and either possibly playing bass or using one of the loops. And, playing bass obviously is an extra step. I enjoy playing bass. It's a fun challenge for me. It's not an instrument I play all the time. But now with Logic Pro 11, they have not just the drummer, they have a session bass player that uses AI, and they have a session keyboard player. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that you can now write in your own chord changes, and you can essentially, dictate what the bass player and what the drummer are doing. And the keyboard player, it's got several different options, styles of bass, different bass sounds, different styles. You can adjust how they play. You can adjust the dynamics and dead strings and, all these different things to make it sound more realistic. But also being able to put in your own chord changes is huge, because when I do these videos, and previously, I was grabbing loops just so I could do some quick examples of how to play. But generally the loops tend to stick in one or two chords, and maybe they're not the chords that I want to play over. And now with this new Logic, you can dictate the chord changes, and it's really incredible. And this is a good practice tool. This is a good composing tool. This is a good thing. But where is it all headed? But you have to wonder if down the line there's going to be an Apple guitar player, a Logic guitar player. Keyboard players are going to say, oh man, the piano player, it's not realistic, and it's not this, and it's not that. The same could be said for the bass player. If you've got an exact bass part, you're gonna, I would assume, have to write that in MIDI. And some people are skilled at that. I am not. I that little piano roll with the thing, that's just not something that I'm going to utilize. I'd prefer to play it myself, because I'm generally an ear player, essentially. I know my theory and stuff like that, but writing out parts has never been something that I did. And I just, I'm old school. I am old school. But I tell you what, this latest update allows me to do some things that I couldn't do before. And it allows me to create some things where I couldn't do it before. Now, yesterday, I got called by one of my clients and one of my friends and people that I work with all the time, and they needed some music beds. And he was talking on the phone, and he said, I want these chords, and I need to, we'll come over. And he's a keyboard player, and he said, I'll come over and play these chords, and then you can add some guitar and and this and that. And I just later that day got the latest update for Logic, and while I was doing that, I got the latest update for Logic, and while I was doing that, I started thinking about, these track beds. And I started playing around with Logic and playing around with the, chord changes and changing chords and doing all this. And I so soon realized I can do exactly what he wanted me to do with him coming over, driving all the way from wherever he was coming from, and setting up his keyboard and, doing all that. I can now pretty much create what he wanted without him having to come over and play keyboards. And I sent it to him last night. It was late, so I didn't hear back from him, but I'll be curious to hear what he thinks when he hears it, because he was looking for background music for videos, for video production and stuff like that. So, just like I would use on my channel, I've got a couple little tracks that I use, for background music or, intros and stuff like that. So he was looking for a musical band. I'm going to be real curious to hear what he says. I did tell him before that, hey, Logic is coming out and it's going to have a session keyboard player and it's going to have a session bass player. So I know when he hears it, he's going to know. And I think, when I listen to it, I hear, that it's a computer. But I tell you what, with all the adjustments you can do, and, even with drummer now, with the drummer, you can use any snare you want with any kit. And then you can do EQ tricks and you can, customize all this stuff. And I think with this AI bass player and AI keyboard player, piano samples, and they're really good piano samples, but you can swap that out for the, electric keyboard and get that Rhodes sound. And, you could use some of your synth, I imagine you can use some of your synth sounds and do that. So, man, it's going to make it so if I needed to hire somebody for a basic part, just a generic part, I could use this Logic AI. Now, what does that mean for guitar players down the road? Man, I guarantee they're going to come up with a Logic guitar player. And it might not replace you, but in situations where they just need a quick part and don't have the budget, there definitely people are going to use that, just like I'm using the keyboard player and the bass player now. And it's going to be a real interesting future with all this AI. I mean, I hear AI songs all the time now on YouTube, and people seem to be using it to make these funny spoof type songs with, some of them will be, with risque titles or just outright profanity in the titles. And you click on it and it's this AI creation. And this is no different. But I do believe if you have a grasp of music, chords, being able to select the chord changes that these instruments play over, that is huge, because for a practice tool, for something to work with, this is a great thing. And you can't stop progress. We can all say, give me my tube amp and give me my tape recording machine and give me this, give me that. Man, the future's coming whether we go along with it or not. So we might as well learn to use it and utilize it for our day-to-day needs. Logic Pro 11 is here. And if you already have Logic Pro, I suggest, some people are waiting. I went ahead and went full in when it came out because you know what? I wanted to get a jump on it. I wanted to try it out and see what it did and see how it could help the creation process, and it certainly does. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's next. Future is wide open, and it's going to be interesting times we live in. If you'd enjoyed this content, please hit like and subscribe, and check out my Sweetwater link down below. If you buy anything, it certainly helps this channel so much, and I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.